morning, Dreamhouse Nation. James Lewis of this Dreamhouse, the show that's all about the house. Joining us today is Bellator star Logan Storley. Logan, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
One of the main reasons we're having you on is because you have such a huge fight coming up at Bellator MMA 274. Tell us, when is that and who are you fighting?
Be February 19th, Saturday, February 19th on Showtime, and I'll be fighting Neiman Gracie. So he's ranked number 4, I'm ranked number 5, so it'll be a fun fight.
Sounds like a great matchup. Now, with that, you mentioned Showtime. Any other places to watch that, or is that the main place?
I think Showtime I think they're just with Showtime right now. I mean, other countries have different viewing, but I'm not sure on all those.
Definitely not. It's all good. Yeah, I was going to say, shoot, we have a great listener base in Ohio and Denver, but we do not have that good of a listener base that we're other countries yet. So we're getting there. So, what was life like growing up in South Dakota?
I think it's pretty similar to in Ohio or the Midwest. I grew up in a small town, farm kid. I loved hunting and fishing and high school football and doing the typical things, I guess, in a small town. And from time to time it'd get a little boring, but now I've been away for, I don't know, 10 years, and you definitely look back and miss those days, and so I enjoy a lot going home and seeing my friends, seeing my family, just kind of getting away from everything, especially living down in South Florida. So it's nice to go home, and I enjoyed my upbringing, and it kind of made me who I was.
The awesome thing about you is you've been dedicated and committed to sports at such a young age. Tell us about what inspired you to start wrestling at age 5.
Webster, South Dakota was a wrestling town. Where I was from, Brock Lesnar's from my hometown. So I had the same high school wrestling coach as Brock, and we had a lot of other Division II guys, Division III guys. A lot of people went and wrestled in college where I was from. And then you had Brock, who was a Division I national champ, and then went on WWE, UFC, and so that kind of was pretty inspiring to see another farm kid who grew up in Webster go and accomplish the goals that he did, and the accomplishments. And so that's, for me, that kind of just proved to me that if you followed somewhat of the path, that you can have a lot of success even though you're from a small town.
Wow, I mean, I never would have thought of a small town being a wrestling factory, but it sounds like it. I mean, gosh, like you said, not just you and your 6 state championships, but like you said, Brock Lesnar, and then other wrestlers who have gone on to all the different levels of division wrestling. That is amazing.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. The wall of state champions, and we probably had over 50 state champs, and we've won 7 team titles. So we've had a lot of success in our town with wrestling, and a lot of just a hard-nosed people, a lot of hard-nosed, hard-working, blue-collar people, and that's a recipe for success in the sport of wrestling that's so demanding, and such a one-on-one sport. There's no excuses. There's no one else to blame. There's no other teammates to blame, and so that's why I loved it too.
Exactly. It's one of those, the buck stops here. I mean, basically, it's a lot of personal responsibility, it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I had the pleasure of wrestling in high school, but nowhere to the extent that you did. Oh my gosh, 6 state championships. That is phenomenal. What is the most important thing a young wrestler can do to improve themselves?
I think that with me coaching now from time to time and helping young guys and just talking to parents, is make sure they enjoy it. I guess it's not there's no real secret. It's tough. It's a brutal sport, and that's why a lot of kids don't enjoy it, especially if they're getting beat up right away. But I think the lessons that it learns along the way are, like I said, have made a lot of wrestlers in the business world and just being successful in life. Wrestling has a huge part to do with that. But I guess my biggest thing is make sure they're doing it for themselves, and you have to put in the time. Camps and doing things on your own and the extra workouts. Those things make a huge difference. The off season is where guys get better, and that's in any sport. But make sure that the kid, it's girl or boy, because see girls wrestling starting to really, really get a lot bigger all over the place. But make
Hmm.
sure they're doing it for themselves and not for their parents. That's what I say to the parents now, and to my cousins, and that all have young kids that are wrestling now, and friends that have young kids. It's just make it enjoyable and make sure that they want to do this.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, wrestling should be a personal choice, and it should be something you do because you love it, not because of obligation. Definitely. Now, with you ended up going to the University of Minnesota. I'm guessing there is some influence from Brock, but what are some of the other reasons that you went to the University of Minnesota?
Yeah, Brock definitely helped. I got to meet those guys earlier. Um, I would say I looked at it was probably between Nebraska and Minnesota. Looked at Iowa a little bit, Oklahoma State, but when I went on my campus tour, I had a real connection with the guys. Those are the guys that I knew I was going to spend 4 years with, try to win a national team title with, and Minnesota just, I had that connection with those guys, and we all kind of had the same goals, and they were a lot of fun. Not lie about it here. Part of college too is making your lifelong friends and having fun and seeing those people, and I just got along with them really well. And I think at the time they were ranked number 3 in the country. So when I was there, we got second in the country, third in the country, second in the country, sixth, and we won 3 national dual titles. We never lost to Penn State in a duel. We were a great team. We just came up short a couple times, at the NCAA tournament, and it really stings, but I wouldn't change it for the world, for the friends that I made, and the network that I made and people that I met. I wouldn't trade it.
One of the other great things you got from your time at the University of Minnesota was your business and marketing degree. How have you been able to use that in the world of MMA?
Yeah, we do a lot of real estate investing, and so that was a thing with University of Minnesota wrestlers. A lot of them are investing in real estate. We have a lot of commodity guys, just a lot of guys, like I said, who have done very well for themselves, and it's nice to have those guys to, kind of have a fallback plan if something didn't work out fighting early. And so I kind of talked to those guys, and I knew in my head that I was going to go and fight and I was going to be successful. But it was cool to just have those people around you that said, if something happens, God forbid, injury, whatever, like we have you. You can come back, and we know what kind of worker you are. And so so I guess I kind of less pressure on you, with knowing that if something happened, that these guys were going to help you succeed no matter what.
Nice. It is always great to have an excellent support system. And you've continued with not just the University of Minnesota, but also with Team Sanford. Tell us about them. What are some of the benefits of working with that team?
Yeah, Sanford's been great. They're out of the healthcare systems out of South Dakota, my home state. Came down here and sponsored our gym, and then I think we have the best MMA team in the world. I really do. At 170, just at my weight class, I think we have 10 or 12 guys ranked in the top 20 in the world. So Gilbert Burns, Vicente Luque, Robbie Lawler, Kamaru Usman used to be with us. Bellator, you have me, Jason Jackson, Muhammad. We just have so many guys, and we have young guys that are, not on the big stage yet, but are coming up, and they're tough. So, I think we have the best team in the world, and it's a lot of fun to be around guys who are very like-minded and want to win world titles.
Obviously, you got the background in wrestling, but I understand that you have a really great striking coach that has made you extremely well-rounded in the sport of MMA.
Yeah, Henry Hooft is. I think, the best striking coach in the world when it comes to MMA, and he's got to, like he says, it's keep it simple, stupid. Just keep it simple, and that's what I've really enjoyed is not trying to, I don't have enough time to become to break down boxers who start at 5 years old. That was in wrestling, and so it's hard to pick up another sport at 20 some years old and think you're going to have the same experiences and time and muscle memory as the sport of wrestling. So he's really broken it down to do what works, what you're good at, and it's been really, really good for me. It's been good for a lot of other guys on our team, and he's been a big, big help to my career.
You started your career 11-0 in MMA and 6-0 in Bellator. How frustrating is it knowing that one judge's decision pretty much separated you from being the Bellator world champion?
Yeah, it was tough. I thought I did enough in that fight against Almasov, but it's the way it goes. It goes like that for a lot of guys, and that's in every sport. We have refs and judges, and I needed to go out there and do more, so there was no doubt. And I learned from it, and to watch him go and win the title and dominate Lima, it stung, but at the same time, he dominated Lima 50-45 across the board. And so that just really let me know where I was at, and that, if you get that judge's decision, you could be champ right now, change your life and your contracts and things like that. So all it does is really adds fuel to the fire and motivates me to want to go out here and beat Gracie and go get a rematch with Almasov.
So tell us about that. Are you currently in camp for that fight?
Yep. So I'm 4 weeks out. We do 8 to 10 weeks training camp, usually, where you really buckle in and get ready for a specific guy. You spend, a certain amount of time, but in the sport of MMA, opponents change all the time. And so you want to really focus on yourself. You start getting your body in shape, to an even more degree than usual, because there's peaking processes. You can't go all year round at 100%, because then there's going to be nothing left to your body, after a few years of doing that. So we have peaking processes and working on new technique. And then once you get into camp, you kind of hone in on your game plan and where you're going to try to take this fight and how to win this fight. And so I got another 2 hard weeks, and then it's fight week. So during fight week, you travel and you do most of the weight cut, and that's your fight week obligations with interviews and things like that. And then it's a fight night on Saturday night.
So what's the best thing about competing in Bellator?
The nice thing about Bellator is, if you watch the Francis Ngannou heavyweight title fight with Cyril Gane, is that, Ngannou has been in contract, arguments with Dana and this and that. And, there's some unhappy guys in the UFC, but that's every organization. But I guess from what I've seen in Bellator, or what I've heard is they're a little smaller company, but they've done a really good job with communication and taking care of guys. And so that's what I've really enjoyed, giving you the stage and really actually kind of working with you, is what I've really enjoyed. But I can't say for myself, because I haven't fought in the UFC at this point. But Bellator's just treated me really, really well, and I'm happy with where I'm at right now, in the company of Bellator. So we'll see what happens in the future, but right now this is my home.
I understand one of the big things that they do is they give a lot more personal freedom and sponsorship opportunities. Obviously, you didn't have
Yeah.
experience in the other league, but you have seen from other fighters about that.
Yeah, that was a big deciding factor for me right away. Is I've had some really good supportive companies that are real companies that are big, that wouldn't be able to sponsor me. And, back in the day, guys were doing really, really well in sponsors. And when the Reebok came in, that all stopped. And it cost guys a lot of money. And so for me, it was it was a financial decision. And Bellator made the most sense. I could keep my sponsors, and it helps take care of me. So it was tough. It was tough for a lot of UFC guys. And then, now they have a new Venom deal and things like that. But, I guess to each their own. And, but yeah, I'm happy that Bellator allows us to have our own sponsors and kind of that freedom.
So, Logan, before we let you go, two things. One, tell us a little bit about Bellator 274 and where we can watch that. And two, your social media and your website.
Yeah, February 19th, Saturday, February 19th on Showtime around, I think, 10 p.m. will be me versus Gracie, a 5-round main event fight for hopefully the next title shot. So it'll be exciting. I can't wait to go out there and put on a show for everyone. And then I guess you can follow me on Instagram at Logan Storley, and then on Twitter at Storley Storm.
Excellent. Well, Logan, it has been a pleasure having you on the show today.
All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.